Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing good. I am a little shot today. I I'm sure I'll do more. I got my exercises in this morning and um but I made a chicken salad and I put some rather large chunks of onion in there. Sometimes I can eat them and they don't bother me much, but I had like a fever from it. Sometimes my legs cramp up because I have the allergies, but um, I didn't have the leg cramps, but I did have like a fever all night. So I woke up a little foggy, and I thought, well, I really don't know where to begin today, but I'll just go for it anyway. Um, yeah, I was a part of a live stream last night. I had found this Greek scholar for ancient Greek that you need to know in order to read what the scriptures really were, and then you will see how Hebrew words and English were taken out of that massive original language. Like if you have, um, say, 100,000 word vocabulary versus like even a 10,000 word vocabulary, the in depth ability with that language to go into a story deeper is there, and that's what's held from a lot of people just reading Hebrew and English translations and all that. And if you just barely touch on the Greek and you don't go deep into those meanings too, to see where the two different types of people had a separation and what happened, to have that understanding from our history. So I thought, hey, um, although they say, Hail Satan, I've asked twice now, are you praising him or just saying hi? You know, because, and I'll get to uh, why I would even associate or tolerate. I mean, I've studied Satanism. I mean, all kinds of crafts. That's what I was raised by. All the crafts, not just one or one or one or one. Everything that they do to other people and why they do it, within the whole system. So I'll get back to that for in a little bit here, but it's hard when people think that I'm um well, it's hard if you can't talk to another human being because they think that you're feeble or simple to begin with, they probably will lose not knowing something that they should probably know. If you don't give a person a chance to even, because you're so intelligent, you don't have no any room for somebody else like from another aspect and another mode of learning to say, hey, this is what I know of this same situation, that type of thing. So I'm dealing with that. I don't know how long I'll deal with it because I had written, I'm going to pull up what I wrote today in hopes of maybe I'll get a little bit of response and be able to. I thought I'd have people to talk to on the same level of things. I did not know they were Satanists. I mean, how stupid of me when they say, for the satanic community, you know. But a lot of people see things as a game. I don't see it as a game or not. There's a force of good, evil, or good evil. Yeah, that's satanic. There's a force of darkness and there's a force of lightness that both that energy is of God um for us to have our free will around all this stuff. But here's what I wrote. I mean, although I had to learn to translate Hebrew, Greek, Latin, English, and I do. I I have a great understanding of Spanish and took that actually as a course for 2 years and lived down south. So my background in understanding the languages growing up around even uh, French, Finliner, and Swede, and even Old English is a whole lot different than our language right now, which is comprised of all the languages. But I'll read to you what I wrote on here today, and because I really do have a message that this community in particular should hear if they don't know it already. So this is what I wrote. Because I had written something the other day, and when I told you, I asked flat out. I studied Greek when I was young in order to read the books the Masonically minded family laid before me. Let me see. And I have that spelt wrong. I have to edit that. Okay, I spelt laid wrong. Um, that's Greek to me. No, haha. I wanted a refresher course and a place to send people to learn, in order to let them understand the spirits of God, good or bad, that we all live around. I am not your simple minded, Bible thumping Christian. Also, I have searched for like minded folks to talk to for over 50 years, 51 to be exact. I did ask if you praise Satan or just hail him for the what? Okay. Oh, for the mere, not so slight reason, lifting the illness of the whole thing. If you are in tune, let me know. Otherwise, I will need to show you a few latent things most don't know. Thank you. Have a great day. P.S. I hope I can reach you inside there. And I'm going to tell you about the spirits of God and what He expects out of everybody. This is what I'm trying to portray. I don't think I'll be heard. I think they think I'm just a aging flesh bag for no purpose to be involved in their community. That's what I think they're perceiving me as. So we'll see. Maybe they do care, because in their minds, in the minds of accepting the darkness in any way like that within their own spirits, they're not understanding how they are meant to lift people on that vibration. And yeah, even God, okay, I'm gonna lay it out in my own words. For me, I'm a parent. If I do something crappy, and I can give you the ability to do something crappy or not, or even bless you and give you things within your life, but you're accepting of that dark force that I put out, and it does harm people in other areas. As a parent, I expect you to put me in check and say, no, I'm going to help you ascend. So, um, as your kid, I can't approve of this and I have to put you in check. When I become adult, I put my parents in check and said, look, this is the way it is, and this is what God expects out of us for Him. We don't coddle illness, we don't praise it. We say, okay, this is a part of what is. Why is it like that? Is it for your benefit? It is in a sense. The benefit is to understand those parts of our Father that we're expected to raise in our souls, those pieces we bring home of Him. I hope that makes sense. There's 7 spirits of God, and a couple of them are not so sweet. You know, are you supposed to praise that? I want you to really, really dig deep. And there's places that I can prove what I'm talking about. You need to really dig deep within yourself what's expected of you before we go out and teach other human beings what God expects of us. We should be doing what he tells us to do. So if I'm trying to reach people, and then I know the Spirit of God is going to be reaching these same people on that level, that will show me who they are. And I always hate to be disappointed. It fucks me up inside, but that's the way it is, you know. So I have to try, you know. I even had a witch that gave me her book one time, and there was white and dark um, literature for me to have access to, and um, she just told me, just don't practice any of this, Well, uh, some things, and I recognized when I was younger, some things come natural within people when it's nurtured in you when you're younger. It's things that hopefully you'll grow out of and understand that it's really not a part of who we are meant to be in any way like that. We don't need to uh, use any kind of leverage on this planet to get our needs met. I think, like you don't need to do a spell, light a candle, and say a perfect incantation in order for you to have your needs met on this planet. And if you're doing that, um, and I know witchcraft and Satanism are not the same thing either. I'm, but in a sense, they're just as bad for our souls as one another. And Christianity can be a cultish craft if people do not understand. If it's just your simple, I'm going to church, if you're a good person, but you're ignorant of the whole thing, you're really not, you're doing everybody a disservice. Just shut up because you don't know what you're talking about. That would be the best thing. That's what I would suggest. If you're not willing to dig deep worldwide and see every aspect of the people that traveled around the world and really what those scriptures are and what the F is going on for everybody, then you don't have a voice, you know? Not on behalf of God, you don't, you know? That's the truth right there. So all of us have to be willing to either be shocked or brokenhearted or learn really what is the truth, the absolute, not just from one culture, because this infiltration has happened to all of us around the world. We all need to go together in that aspect for the absolute truth. There's no and and for me to I can't say, that's why I say I can't call myself a Christian. I believe in Christ. I know God helps me. That's the spirit within my temple that helps me. And I do believe with all my abilities that I've been helped quite a bit. Um, I'm not average like that. So anyway, nobody is. I was taught when I was young I can do anything I put my mind to, and pretty much I do. You know, if I decide to do something, I'm doing it, you know, and I'll probably excel. It's like with my martial arts or my music or even mechanics, whatever I choose to go into, I'm going to ace it. And if not, I mean, there's some things that I don't do as well as others, but I still am. not going to stop trying, to excel in any place. Like, I still want to learn French. I really have a hard time with it. Of course, I can look at a book and I mean, it's beautiful to hear like the Greek language and somebody that can enunciate that, you know. The Hebrew, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, that always will, because and for the Satanists, you really might want to just stick with the Hebrew. It's one and the same if you're satanic. That's been proven. We all know that. Put your little hat on and join the brigade. you know, might as well. I hope it made you laugh, or you can get mad. I don't care. Either way is cool. I can do both. You know. Cheers, everybody. To have a love of God and His bad parts, we have to really understand that that's not what we're here for. We're not here to be some Bible thumping, beat you over the head if you don't understand. Yeah, of course, we're going to follow the commandments. And some people have trouble or try to excuse what is called the seven deadly sins, reasons that will actually keep our physical self safe, the spirit that's inside ourselves. And those are given a pass within different cults and societies that aren't Christian minded Christians, the Zionist ones, the Judaism crap. I mean, yeah, okay, you can say like you're an inward Jew. That's an inappropriate word, and I could prove, but I've said it. Um, but it's more a joke. I mean, I am, because they are not who they say they are. The people that actually carry that goodness, that's who you are. Omitting that word. Um, Not to my relatives that have that heritage. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I'll come up with a different word than that because it's not appropriate, doesn't fit, you know. But people that carry the word of God on their heart and abide by that, there isn't a word for that, you know. So I mean, like if I could call myself like like I was saying yesterday, like a Christian Gnostic, but then um one side's gonna not really like me, and the other side is gonna think that I'm too outlandish for their nose in the air outlook of what a human being and God is. I mean, no sin in my mind, nothing's impassable, even my bad language. Nothing is passable in the house of God, which is written on our heart. We all know. Just like I'm not gonna sit there and drop in the F bomb in front of a little kid, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference of what's acceptable and what isn't, that type of thing. So yeah. I'll just sit and talk with you for a while. It's basically really what my channel is all about. It's like on Sunday, I'm going to do a chat with 007. Pretty much, I'm trying to make him, make him, I'm going to make you. I'm trying to get him to make the time a little later if he can. He might get a little, but he's used to working like his, um, I think like in the evenings playing his music mostly where he lives on the Canary Islands off the coast of Africa. So I don't know. I'm asking if it could be more like 11 o'clock in the morning for me because I stay up super late. That has a lot. lot to me having to adjust to Doug's time, or I just can't sleep. It's just one or the other. I either adjust to his mode of sleeping or I don't get any sleep. I love to get up early and watch the sun come up. A lot of that's been taken out of my life because of the sleeping pattern. And Doug's used to doing his night crafts out in his shop a lot at night. And I've worked a lot of nights too, but it's just what he actually is and does. And it's what we're trying to ascend that attitude in life through. That is where you get like, okay, we're all hermetically sealed in this together. There's nothing we can do about it. Here we are. Um, if you see that you or I, these parts of God, Mr. and Mrs. God, are having a struggling time, we're going to reach out and we're going to try and, um, I hate the word like enlighten people and teach them. And I like more reach. I'm reaching for somebody that can't do this alone. Um, and other people don't recognize that there is a help needed in an area that they have sympathy for, but they don't have real empathy because they're not understanding what's expected out of them with all that. And then it turns into some kind of like circus sideshow, you know, instead of the seriousness and the long suffering of God. And people don't understand how they can actually help them, but they think they are, you know. That's exactly what's going on. Exactly. And the dimwits that are your mainstream church going people, um, like I grew up being, lucky I had a little more education along with the whole thing. But yeah, I don't know if I was lucky or not. What do you think? Do you think I'm getting anywhere with these boneheads? You know, I'm trying to explain it all from a different viewpoint, you know, from being raised knowing the whole thing, not just coming into it, you know, does give you a different aspect and a different point of view on the whole thing, you know. Abracadabra. Oh, that was supposed to be a joke. I hope everybody caught that. I know the Satanists thought, oh, yeah, I'm real funny. Yeah, the Satanists don't use that anyway, but it's still funny. Unless you're a warlock, which could be. And I could be dealing with people that are affiliated in some of them groups. There's so many I could if I started naming them off. We'll just go with Coronas, you know, and the Knights of Columbus, and people think, well, Masons, Shriners, how about your Lions and Eagles? There's all kinds of, or I said Cronus, I meant Kiwanis. Um, some of these aren't what they appear to be. There's a a mode of teaching for whatever level people are on, I guess is the way to put that. Wherever you're at, get so and lonely knowing something I'm supposed to portray to people and they're not getting it. I think people will. I have that faith. I know, of course, God's helping me, always has. Okay, this is how I can word it. I unknowingly, when I was younger, drawed from the dark power, not knowing what the hell I was doing. And when I found out what I was doing, I straightened my act up. And I need people to understand that. You need to understand that. You can't do that. You're not going to help the situation. You're going to perpetuate it. I'm serious. How about a new group called Satanists for Christ? Raise the Christ you profess. Truly, without that dark force or dark energy. It's not to be praised, it's to be raised within people. Taking that peace home after we ascend, unless you don't want to ascend and you think that you're going to be a flesh bag forever. That's just not going to happen. Although I know a lot of people like me think we've been here before. I am here to teach. I'm not really here to learn. Learning how to accentuate a word, that's all cool. That's good. But there's things inside here that other people just aren't getting yet, that I'm just supposed to keep trying to reach people with all that. Yeah, I've been a little mean about it, but I'm not talking to babies, you know. I'm talking to people that are willing to, like in the scriptures would say, hurt the green grass. You know, when you got little seeds out there that are just pretty little tender things, and the seeds are still there under there, they're trying to root, but you got this big old moose going across it, smashing that, totally hurting the growth because they don't understand that they're going to wreck that by going across it. You know, that's what's happening. That's exactly what it is. So, yeah, I have my tasks ahead of me. I always have. I think it's a never ending thing. And that really is how um, the Christ blood will ascend in full someday. I see the beginning of it. In the future, I'll be able to see the the finality of it, what our hard work put into motion with all of us trying to do that same thing here. It's just a little bit different when you don't have a church or a cult or anything that you can absolutely call your own except for God within your own heart and knowing that you're a part of that family. But demeaning people that don't understand the seven spirits of God, demeaning them, you're still demeaning God's children, no matter who they are, period, really, in all reality, you know? Now, if we're going on the sacrificial side of things and the crafty side of things, you're my total opposition, and um, unless you have murder in mind, my offer to spar in my yard is still open to anybody. I do not care who you are unless you're a little kid or a tiny little woman or even a tiny man. So I don't know. Some tiny men can, and women can be pretty. Yeah, my offer's open. If you want to spar in my yard, we'll have a cup of coffee, use the restroom, and then we'll go out and try to beat the fuck out of each other, right? If that will solve anything for you. Because sometimes, yeah, I have some aggression inside here. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would just try to want to body slam me or um, box my fucking head in or throw me to the ground or into a tree or whatever. And sometimes I feel just like that too, you know. Preacher, preacher, mom couldn't reach her. Dad couldn't either. What is that Eminem song? Anyway, my preachers couldn't reach me because I knew more than they did just instinctively and in a weird way. Um, some of them men that even were teaching me the Jesuits and Masons, the Grand Masters and stuff, um, they knew my bloodline. I didn't. But yeah, they even hated me in a weird way because when you know something instinctively and they have to practice it as a craft, and they still don't get it 100% right, people have a tendency to be kind of off put for whatever reasons, you know, because they know I can think something in the ether and it'll happen, you know, that would be off putting for a lot of people, whatever. God protects me. I don't totally get my way, and there's times when I had some real cruel thoughts for a few years in my teen years that I'm glad God kept me safe, or I would probably still be in prison, you know. So, yeah, He helped me big time. So, when you have the whole world coming against you one way or another, or both sides now, that's a good song. Um, you don't have anyone to relate to, you know? And that's where I'm stuck. I think there's so much information out there for people if they're not afraid to learn or too lazy. And lazy is what I see. And I know this is a busy, confusing world. It really always has been. Probably even worse before because people didn't have the ability to just open a device and speak their mind, you know. It was a lot harder to communicate, although communicating in person is on a whole nother level, you know. So I don't know. They both have their benefits. So yeah. Just the mere fact if somebody would want to fight me would hurt my feelings and make me fight harder. That's just kind of, you know, maybe you're like that too. Can't help myself. I love you and nobody else. Sugar pie, honey bunch. You know that I love you. Can't help myself. Do you know that? It's an old song. And for some of you younger people, I like symphony music, heavy metal. About the only kind of music that I really don't like, I just really don't like it all that much. It has to have a little more substance to it. Is some of the electronic music. I do sub to one electronic artist, Techno Tunes. He's got a really, wow, his selection of his electronic tunes that you can use in your videos. They're royalty free. It's just some really neat stuff. Then I subscribe to one other guy that plays all kinds of guitars, piano, and ukulele, and puts out music for months in music for those different instruments, and I follow him. I get ideas and I see songs that I've already played in my life, and I don't know. I've sang along with him on and played my guitar on a couple of his songs just to see how that would go in my videos. I've got some where I did karaoke or played my guitar either along with somebody or else whatever, you know. Yeah, I play all kinds of instruments actually, pretty well, a lot of them, professionally, a couple times. But yeah. Now, if somebody came, if we were like sitting around a bonfire, I'd probably, maybe, depending on the group of people, pick up my guitar and get people singing. It would have to be an exceptional group of people. I've been around some really lame brains that wouldn't know or care uh, what it takes to give them a gift of something like that. It's like they wouldn't appreciate it. It's like, yeah, they can make their own music. Looks like they're doing really good. So, so yeah, I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me? I'm gonna play that song later. I love that song. There's one song I'm trying to remember that one of my sons would listen to, and there was a woman in the background. I think it was heavy metal. I don't know if it was like Hoobastank or Slipknot or, yeah, all the, I know who is being Luciferian or not, and the difference between Satanism, Luciferianism, Eastern Star, the Masons, Jesuits, all of them have their own little idiosyncrasies, whatever type of wizardry they're doing or not. But yeah, but this woman in the background, she would be like, loser, loser. I don't know what it was, and I keep trying to find that song. I have no clue. If any of you do, let me know. You might know what I mean. It's like all this heavy metal stuff, big gnarly voices, and then this woman in the background. I don't know. What the heck was it? Still can't. Do any of you know the band Rammstein? Do you know any German? I have it in my playlist. If there's I think it's the first song on the album. It's about a soldier in a war, and he's in like a foxhole, and he's talking about killing and all the murders around him and what that feels like. He's like, it's just like screaming, but the gutturalness of German, whew, especially that northern dialect. It's like, oh, yikes! You know, I learned the southern dialect is softer. It's a little more pleasant to the ears, if you know what I mean. So, anyway. So, yeah, language is my thing. I told this person that teaches Greek that I made my own language. I think he probably thinks I'm a liar, but it's called Gidigi. I will just say what I just said in my language. Eragits, Kadagald, Gedagid, Eragi. And being a major in ancient Greek, I hope you can appreciate the vowels and the syllables and the accent, the accentuation on that. Um, I'll say this is a cigarette. Thetagus, Adagiz, Adaga, Sadgig, Adger, Radaget. I taught my kids this. Doug tries. Doug's daughter's pretty fluent in it. I would say it's somewhat of double talk. There's triple talk. There's, of course, we know there's Pig Latin. Like I'm Arbora Nilak was my name, Barbara Colleen, when I was a kid. Um, but this is different, isn't it? And it's actually a language that I can speak that most people cannot understand. That's a trip, huh? And where'd it come from? I have to say that the Spirit of God put it in me. I was talking in front of my English literature teacher, and I had a couple friends, and they were talking double and triple talk, and we started doing this, and I perfected it. This woman, I know she had admiration for me, but she hated me at the same time. That was difficult, really difficult. So when I say something, I'm not just saying it. I actually do what I say, you know? If I say I probably know more about mechanics than most men, I know more about a lot of things than most men, but I'm not just saying it. Or that I break horses and, you know, whatever. You know, the things I've done, I'm not just saying it. It's things I do, you know. And also, I'm not a total expert in microbiology, but I had learned enough to be able to write 2 articles over on morgellons.org and initiate the bicarbonate soda into our lives that other people plagiarized. But my proof is there from years ago before you saw this all over the internet. And um, yeah, I've been used and abused and screwed, blued, and tattooed, you know. So anyway, yeah, it kind of pisses me off, but that's okay. And then I had a theory about stellar cores around the sun, and Dr. Claudia Albert stole my information and started putting it out about like it was hers from Colombia, South America. And I can prove that too because it's all documented. Stuff like that. I mean, they're not little things. They're things other people make money off of that I put out here, you know. I know the gestation period of the combination of the Morgellon bugs. Can you tell me that? I can tell you that. That's an important thing to know if you want to keep healthy in the society with all these particles that they've put into our lives and our bodies and our food and water. It's a pretty important thing to understand who has the upper hand on that situation, you know? That would be the person that can articulate that. It's just like these preachers or people that say they know God, or you can definitively tell me something that happened in the beginning. If you weren't there, you really cannot definitively tell me now, can you? You can speculate, you can articulate something that's in a book that you are perceiving perhaps in the wrong way, but it's still one person's opinion, isn't it? Unless you can scientifically prove it, you know, or there's just something about you. That's a good song, too. So, but yeah, anyway. Well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I hope I can reach some people with the truth of this situation, because you're really not going to help. You'll it will ultimately only be a greedy thing. It's not so much that we're bringing dark and light together. We're distinguishing one from the other for the health of all concerned, even people that don't realize that they're submissed because of their beliefs, whether it's good or bad. It goes both ways on that. That part, that's the whole situation. I hope I made that clear somehow. I'll keep thinking of other ways to try and explain it, but it's a real thing. It's not that we're trying to bring Satan back into heaven. It's that he has his own place that doesn't have the actual education of the rest of the spirits of God, because that was expelled to this planet as a teaching tool for us. But if we're not being taught the right way, it was taken and used for people's greed, misrepresented, misconstrued, and totally taught in the most ill manners that have led people astray. And I can't say any more today. That's about it, everybody. I appreciate you joining me. Have a really beautiful night or day wherever you're at. Peace. Oh, one thing. Somebody told me on a live stream, that live stream last night, one of the moderators, you can say your state where you're from, but not your city. No, I'll give you my address. And I wrote, I want the dark, especially the dark cabal, to know, ethereal, in the ether, exactly where I'm at. Because I follow you home, you know, or I will. I haven't, but I might. So I don't have a problem with that. Thank you kindly anyway. It's what I do, and I do it well. Talk to you tomorrow. Thanks again.